I'm Susan. Welcome to Tea and Games. The tea today is Builders. I've been drinking a lot of seasonally flavored teas, shall we say, this fall, so I'm going back to an old standard today. And welcome to new subscribers. We got like another small influx of subscribers. I'm glad you're here. My husband Robert and I are just casual weekend board gamers. We have a modest board game collection. Not a professional content creator, nor do I aspire to be. So no paid promos or anything on here. My husband Robert doesn't choose to do the video thing, so it's just me. Although occasionally he will hold the camera for me when I'm doing something. I finished a top 50 list and a spooky season games list, and I've been kind of on this treadmill, like running, trying to cover the games we're playing besides the spooky season game, because we've gotten new stuff, and then the spooky stuff, and the top 50 list. So this fall, after the 2-year channel anniversary, has been just kind of a little bit sort of frantic in terms of me getting videos done. And so I'm going to take a couple of weeks off after this. I'm scheduling this for next week, and then in addition to that, I'm taking a couple of weeks off. So I just thought I'd let y'all know. I am happy you're here, that you're joining me around the table. And so many of you subscribe and join me around the table regularly. I'm just really happy about that. But I want to keep it fun. So I feel like that since I've been doing, in some weeks, 2 videos a week, which for a casual video thing is just a bit much, that I need just a teeny tiny little bit of a break. So we're going to do that. We recently got some classic games that neither of us had ever played before. We went to Half Price Books, and I always browse their game selection because sometimes there are good used games there, and sometimes I will contribute to their pool of good used games for people to get fairly inexpensively. But occasionally also they will get new games, still in shrink, still sealed. So that was the case with Azul and Sagrada. I was sort of shocked when I poked my head down the game aisle and saw on the top shelf, I think it was, that they had 2 classic games for $19.99 each. So for that price, I really could not resist, because these games are just so very well spoken of. Now, I refer to these games as classic, but I'm really not entirely sure how to define classic. I've seen videos where people talk about games that are classics, and then I kind of look the games up and I'm thinking, like, when did that game come out? And the game is like 2-3 years old, and I kind of feel like that a game needs to last longer than 2 or 3 years to be considered a classic. I feel like staying power is kind of one of those things that should define a classic. I mean, we consider backgammon and cribbage and chess to be classic games because they've been around for a very, very, very long time. But if you look at like the top of the BGG rankings thing and you scroll through the first, couple of hundred games or so, most of those games are 21st century games. I mean, obviously there are some exceptions, and we are, we're getting deeper into the 21st century now. This is 2024. So we're not quite a half century in, but most of the games that you're going to see, and most of the games on videos that people are talking about, the classic games like Sagrada and Azul, are games that are not half-century old classics. They're not a quarter-century old classics. Classics may be 5 years or 10 years. So I kind of feel like that what a classic game is kind of trying to hit a moving target in some ways. But there's so much turnover with board games. There are so many board games that go in and out of print within a matter of 2 or 3 years that I feel like a game that sticks around and gets multiple printings and people are still playing it, still talking about it, and important for the publishers, still buying it X number of years down the line, that this is an important thing. It says a lot about how good the game is. But not all games are for all people. Both of these games are abstract strategy games, and they are similar in certain respects. Both of them have you draw random beautiful elements out of a bag and place them according to certain specific criteria. So they're both very puzzly. They're both very abstract. They have a theme, but the theme is not... you could just say for these games, the theme is pretty. With Azul, these are floor tiles of a particular type, Portuguese floor tiles of a particular style. And for Sagrada, the dice, the translucent dice represent stained glass window panes of the Sagrada Familia, which is in Barcelona and was designed by Gaudí. And I've got the Azul box upside down, don't I? How long has the Azul box been upside down? Oh, gosh. And this, folks, is why I need a break from filming board games. So in that sense, these games are very similar. And there's something in the back of my mind that kind of feels like if you've got one of these games, you might not need both of them to fill that whole drawing from a bag and getting random things and placing them according to certain scoring criteria. Maybe. But at the same time, the two games play very, very differently. Robert and I were talking about this, and it's like, well, I mean, we wouldn't want to get rid of either of these because they're actually really different games. And they're also, they fall into our sweet spot for games. Our sweet spot is games that are, I think I'll leave this up for a little while since it was upside down for so long. Our sweet spot is games that are easy to learn, but really difficult or tricky to play well. So that's these. Yes, that's definitely these. And I do have Sagrada right side up, don't I? Yes, okay. So anyhow, the games are puzzly. In this one, the tiles are placed randomly upon these little platters, round disc things, and then you're picking some and putting the other into the pool in the middle and trying not to end up taking too much from that pool that you don't need later on in the game. And then at the end of the round, you move those things into the colored slots that match, but you can't double them up and you can't have them orthogonally. And there are placement rules, and these are important for scoring. And so you've got to try to figure out which one of the blank areas you're going to put your tiles in according to where you're going to move them over and what they're going to be next to. And they score horizontally and vertically as well as for what they're placed. So tricky, really tricky. Azul is one of those harder than it looks games, and so is Sagrada. It is a very beautiful game. The tiles have a nice feel to them. If you're one of these people that really likes components that feel good in your hand, this would definitely fall into that category. There are resin tiles. There are 100 total of them. There are multiple versions of Azul. This is the first version. And of course, if we're going to get something, we're probably going to get the first classic version first. I would maybe consider getting something else if we play this so much we get burnt out on it, but rotating through the games that we've got and playing them, even though this plays really fast, I kind of feel like that's going to be quite some time, like far in the future, before we start thinking whether or not we want to get another Azul, because this has got a whole lot of replayability in it, including the fact that the board flips over, which changes how you play the game. So to some extent. So, yeah, I think we're going to get a whole lot of play out of this. And it plays so fast, too. Um, we enjoyed it, and then we played Sagrada after that. We played multiple games of Azul, like back to back to back. And then we started like binging Sagrada a little bit. And then we started playing Sagrada, and we're looking at each other after playing Azul and knowing that Azul plays fast. We kind of went, wow, this is playing fast. This is going so fast. And then it's like, and I'm in trouble now. It's like we get to a certain point in each game of Sagrada. It's like we're placing things out, and I'm thinking about what I'm doing. Yes, I am making good decisions. I think I'm making good decisions. But at some point in the game, Robert's going like, I'm in trouble. I'm saying, I'm in trouble. Boy, I'm in real trouble. And it's like, it's just the way the game goes. And I mean, you can be very careful and you can think about this very well, but there are random elements in that you draw the dice out of the bag and then you roll the dice. There are tools that can help you modify that sometimes, but that's also points you don't get later. So you're trying to meet public objectives, private objectives, as well as placing the things according to certain very specific placement criteria on the little sheet. And we did these things, like we swapped around, and we've done the things with all of the easy tiles, the easy scorecard things, and these scorecards slide into this. It's like a double layer board, so that you have a double layer not only for dice placement, but there's a little slot there, and you slide the score thing in there to show you how to place things, which we both thought was very nifty. But at some point, you're going to get stuck. There was one time I left it. I filled everything in except for that 6. And then I realized that what I had around it, that basically I only needed, that 6 was going to have to be in one of 2 specific colors. And then eventually I filled everything in, so it was only like there was one color. I needed a yellow 6. And so yellow wasn't coming up that much, but there was a yellow 2. And I'm going like, and that doesn't help me. I can modify by 1 using a tool, and that does not help me. So I can re-roll using another tool. So I re-roll, it's a 2 again. Okay, next round. Need that yellow 6, because I boxed myself into that corner, and there is a yellow die. It's a 2. Can't modify it to be a 6, so I do the re-roll, spend another one of my little favor tokens to spend the re-roll, and it comes up 2 again. So I got 2 twice in a row using 2 different dice. So that's like 4 2s, and I needed a 6. So this game, I mean, there is luck in Azul too, because you don't have any control over how the tiles come out of the bag, what groupings are placed around for you to take out of. And you don't have any control over what other people are going to be taking. But Sagrada feels more luck-driven in some way because there's dice. We liked it a lot. I think that the translucent dice is just really, really beautiful. Both Azul and Sagrada are definitely going to be keepers for us, and they play very quickly at 2 players, and we are going to get a lot of plays out of them. There are other versions of Sagrada as well, in addition to other versions of Azul, but we like these, and I think we're just going to keep playing these. I don't know that we're going to necessarily get burned out of them because they're going to be in rotation with other games. It's not like, I mean, when we first got them, we kind of binged them a little bit, but now they're going to get played at a more normal pace, shall we say, and just be rotated in. And I'm thinking these play so fast, we could maybe play them on a weeknight evening. But yeah, these were hits. But then we played the crowdfunding that fulfilled a couple of weeks ago. The Kickstarter, yeah, it was Kickstarter. I had to stop and think whether it was Kickstarter or GameFound, but it is Kickstarter of Mycelia, which you might say that does not look like any version of Mycelia that I have seen, because there are actually a number of games with this title or a title similar to this. So, and this doesn't even look like the pictures you normally see of it, because being the Kickstarter version, voila! It's got a slipcover, which I've already dinged up. Yeah, the box is going to eventually get dinged up anyway, but look at this artwork. Yeah, it's just, this is just such a beautiful game. Just so very, very, very pretty. This is area control, area majority. Let me see if I can shift this a little bit here. And you do know that we like that. It does seem like the kind of thing we wouldn't like, but we do. You are putting out your mother mushroom, then you are sporing the mushroom, and you are placing out other mushrooms according to your mushroom cards. The spores you place upon the colored tiles, the colored triangle tiles. And this is another thing with the replayability of this game. The board is going to look different every time because you start off with a random star shape. Just draw the tiles randomly and lay out the star shape. But then you add tiles as you go. So the shape of the board changes during the game. And where the colors are located that you need to do certain cards will change. And whether or not you have control over that area is going to change. And also there's also some tiles in there that are wild tiles that are very, very handy as well. But there's a lot of cards. The Kickstarter version has the Australia, Asia mushrooms. It's like, I think, 18 extra mushroom cards. And the game comes with, at least the Kickstarter version came with, I don't think this is regular, but the Kickstarter version came with art prints. Just random mushroom art prints. And you can order mushroom art prints, I think, from the website. Not absolutely sure about that. Nice big player aid things. There are some little tiny insect tokens because insects can do good for you. But I wanted to pull this out. This is beautifully organized. I mean, just look at this. The organization is beautiful. When I got the game, I just immediately took a whole bunch of pictures of the box inserts because that's the kind of person I am. Because it's so hard to get beautifully organized games that you don't have to buy or make the beautiful organization for them. Nice heavy-duty tiles. The tiles that have bugs on the center of them, you'll put a little bug token on there, and that will allow you to do certain things, extra actions. Not extra actions. Well, yeah, they don't count as your actions. So you can change out the stuff in the market, move somebody else's mother tile. There is a solo mode for this, for all of you solo players out there that like shrooms. I'm not putting this back in here correctly. But yeah, they have beautiful, beautiful, beautiful mushroom artwork. If you're a fan of botanical artwork, then this is a game that's going to delight you. We like good art and good theme in a game. We are very much pulled in by that. Though having said that, a game has to play well. We have to enjoy the gameplay. And yeah, these are not sleeved, but I'm gonna have to sleeve these things. I know I'm going to have to because they're too pretty to just risk them getting all dinged up. But yeah, you are sporing your mushrooms, you're placing mushrooms out, you are basically competing for territory with those mushroom spores. There are double layered player boards. Everybody has 5 of these things. And this is how you count how many times the mushroom spores. The mushroom can only spore twice and then it goes into decay. Unlike the how to play videos, decay is no longer slid into the top. It is slid, you can see from the bottom cutout on this, maybe, because it's dark on the back, that you can slide it in from the bottom so that you can see what is part of the decay for the mushroom, and that is a special action for your 3rd time with that mushroom. Some are immediate actions, some are ongoing upgrades or benefits. There is a win die. This determines, well, first of all, the first spore will always go on the mushroom that you're sporing. It will always go on that tile, but the win die will decide which direction out from that tile it goes, and you can lose control of your mushrooms that way. And or gain control of some other people's mushrooms as you spread out on the board, because you can move your mother mushrooms and take over certain areas. And it's just a really interesting game. And the game ends when one player has every mushroom, I left the insects out, has every mushroom that has been spored and decayed. Now, I kind of got close to that in this thing, and I was starting to lose control of the board, and Robert was getting some very powerful mushrooms. So, and I don't mean psychedelic powerful. No, don't think that way. But I mean, he was getting some high point cards, and I was starting to lose control of areas of the board. And so I just thought, I need to end this thing. I'm not going to get any more points than what I've got now. I think I'm okay on this, so I can't risk any more. So it was just really interesting. And we have also played this twice now. It is just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And we enjoy that whole controlling the board thing and trying to figure out how to move to get what you want, to get more cards. But at the same time, you have to maintain your mycelial network. If that network gets broken, then the ones that are way off there in the corner that are not connected to anything, you cannot use them to pay for cards. But talking about the beautiful artwork, look at that. Inside the lid of the box. Also, all the way around the box, see? Right here on the bottom. But yeah, it is a gorgeous game. And so even though we really liked Azul and Sagrada, we played this the same weekend that we played Azul and Sagrada for the first time. And this just blew those out of the water. We're going like, oh yes, but we like this much more. Though I have to say, this is a longer game. It is, and it's got a different kind of complexity to it. But we like this. We like this a lot. This is definitely going to make the short list of best crowdfunding purchases ever. I'm just so pleased with it. I really like the artwork. I like the gameplay. I like everything about it, even the box insert. So yeah, this was the big hit of the weekend. Though Sagrada and Azul were very, very good. It was a very good weekend for playing games. Very, very, very good. Let me see, do I have this right side up? Yes, I do. See if I can get the box and get the slipcover back on here, on camera even. Yeah, I did something wrong. The box isn't as flat as it was before when I put it in there. And I'll have to do that off camera because I'm awkward on camera. As those of you who have been watching for a long time know, I fumble things. Things don't go back the way that they normally do so very, very often. But we've been playing so many good games. And I've gotten in some more plays of Final Girl, which I mentioned in the previous video, which is... it's like I kind of like it and I kind of don't. I mean, I like the rhythm of the game. I like the flow of the game. I like the system of the game. But I feel like that the game is too hard and has too much set up for me to play very often. But I have played it now with both heroines, and I am considering getting the Christmas version of it because we do like seasonal games a lot. And so that could be something that I would just do at Christmas, and Camp Happy Trails could be something I would just pull out and do around Halloween time. So yeah, it's good. People are right, it is good, but I don't think it's going to be one of those that I play that often because I just don't do solo that much. I should probably play more solo games because I have solo games like Button Shy games that I don't get played as much as I probably should, considering how small and fast they are. But it's like I'm saving up all of my game playing brain for the weekend when we're playing bigger stuff like this. But yeah, that's kind of been it. 3 new games in one weekend. and plus all of the spooky season games that we've been playing that I talked about in the previous video. So that's going to be it for a couple of weeks, I think. I'll see how I feel after a week or so and take a little bit of break because I've been kind of doubling up and working ahead and trying to get all those top 50 videos done. The top 50 videos are all in a playlist. So if you want to go through those, you know where to find them. But yeah, we've been playing some good stuff. But one question I have for you, how would you define a classic game? I kind of feel like it needs to have a certain amount of staying power, that something can't be a classic if it's only been out for a year or two. It could be a potential classic, shall we say. But yeah, I'd like to know what you consider a classic board game, since we started off talking about Azul and Sagrada as classics. Because so many people love them, so many people play them. There's so many different versions of them, and they've been out since, I think it was 2017 that they came out. So they haven't made the 10-year mark, but they've made it over 5. So yeah, it's been a while. And for board games, getting past, the 5-year mark is a pretty good sign, because so many games go in and out of print like that, which is a shame. It means that there's a lot of good games that just kind of vanish. But everybody can't play everything. And these games that I just loved and Robert just loved may not be for you. If you don't like abstract puzzles, then Sagrada and Azul may not be the best choice for you. It may not be very high on your list of games. If you don't like mushrooms or nature-themed games or area control, area majority, and a lot of people don't like those. This game gets very, very pushy, even with 2. I shudder to think what this is going to be like when we teach it to somebody else and we've got 3 or 4 players with this thing. It is going to be basically massacre on the forest floor as all of our mycelial networks break and we tear each other's territories up. It's going to get ugly. As it was, it just kind of got really dicey there when Robert and I played. So this does play well at 2. But see, these games may not be for everybody. There's going to be stuff about these games that you're going to go, no. But we like a lot of different stuff. Our game taste, I tend to think, are very specific. Don't like this, don't like that, like this, don't like that. But at the same time, we play stuff sometimes that I don't think we're going to like, and then we end up liking it. The games for you new subscribers out there, the games that I will be talking about, there's going to be a certain amount of diversity in terms of gameplay and theme, because we're curious about these games that we haven't played. And there are so many classic games that we haven't played. Talking about classics, I mentioned that in my top 50, that there's a lot of classic games not in my top 50. My top 50 is very quirky because there's a lot of great games that I've never played. They can't make the list if I haven't played them. So Azul and Sagrada, they could turn up on the list in some future years when I do it, but I don't think I'll be doing another top 50 for a while, because that was a bit of a grind getting all those videos out. And that's why I'm taking some time off. But I will see you all next time around the table. I'll be back. Bye.